look like we have, okay. Good afternoon. The time is 3 p.m. on Tuesday, the 18th of February. I call to order the February meeting of the Norwalk Board of Fire Commissioners. We have a quorum, and we'll move to the agenda. So the first item, I guess it's a roll call. Chief, you want to call the roll on that?
Sure. Mayor Rilling,
Here.
Pastor Oscar De Struge,
Here.
Commissioner Rabbi Paskind,
Here.
and Commissioner Dixon,
Here.
all present.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Next item on the agenda is the acceptance of the minutes of the regular meeting of Tuesday, January 21st. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, moved by Commissioner DeStrouge. Are there any corrections, deletions, omissions?
I have one correction on page 2.
Okay,
Under the budget report, second paragraph, second line. July 1st, the rent will increase by $1,060 a month. That should be annually,
Right.
1660 annually for a total of 56,000.
yeah, thank you.
Well, no other changes.
I did look at that, and no, we don't pay $56,000 a month.
I had to go back and look at the budget.
Yeah.
Do we pay that?
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah.
So I have two corrections.
Okay, Chief.
It's just a title correction. I know Kirk McDonald would love to be the acting fire chief, but unfortunately, he's not. So on
Surely,
page
yes.
3 and 4, it still
Yeah.
refers to him as acting fire chief instead of acting fire marshal.
Okay,
And those are the only two.
any other corrections? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the minutes as corrected?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next, we have the fire chief's report. Chief Gatto.
Yes, good afternoon, Mayor and Commissioners.
Good
So-
afternoon.
We are now 7 months into our fiscal year 25 budget. And if you look over the salary expenses, overtime expenses, we're doing good. We have we're still doing good. We have a healthy amount left in each account. The year-to-date spreadsheet here shows the firefighting account has 52.5%. The overtime is at 55.5%. And we should be, for 7 months, we should be at 58.3.
Mhm.
And if you take into all of the accounts for the operating, we are at 54.7. So we're under our 58% for 7 months. So I think we're in good shape.
Well done.
Well done, yes.
Anything else, Chief?
No, that's it.
Okay, that brings us to the Assistant Fire Chief of Administration.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor,
Good
Commissioners.
afternoon, Chief
Afternoon.
Conti.
Just updates on the stations as usual. Our apparatus floor for Station 1, that's the apparatus floor replacement. I've got final drawings where I'm meeting with the contractors and we're gonna get to pricing because we want to discuss, we need to finalize the phasing because we are going to keep both companies in-house and we want to make sure that we can phase it properly and have everything in order and get that pricing done properly so I can present it for approval. So I'm working on that right now. Station 3 is the project has finished. There's some loose ends that we're still tying up, but the project has finished and Engine 3 has been relocating back to the quarters. They're actually they probably will officially be there tonight, as a matter of fact.
Good.
The overhead door, unfortunately, because that was back ordered. I think I mentioned that before. So that's really the only major thing we're waiting on as far as as far as a major, as far as the appearance and everything, but everything else is really done. Minor things. Hopefully that'll be delivered within the next couple months. I attached some final pictures of the new floor and the new floors in the back. We were able to do really, it came out really good, and it increased our clearance in the front for the front door by over 8 inches, which is
Wow.
huge for us. Now we actually have enough room for the apparatus. It's very good. So
Wow.
it's a lot easier for them to back in instead of going way up the ramp and coming down. So it's a much easier approach for them. So I think it's going to work out well. Station 4, we are, we've submitted in the budget as you all know, and Guardian, I've continued to be working with them if there's any minor repairs moving forward. They've been very good, so it's been working out well. And as far as the overhead door replacement, we have all the doors that they're ordered citywide from that was our capital item that we had from last year. So we're really just waiting for everything to be delivered, and they're going to just start knocking out station by station, and we're going to get some new doors for all the stations. Any questions?
Is there an ETA for the delivery?
So they told me they told me it's going to be at least a few months. Station 3's is going to be sooner because I had that ordered. They were just back ordered, but I would say from what they said, it's probably going to be maybe 3 months around there. It's they're Clopay commercial doors. We got a good door, and we just have to wait for them to come in. They just told me that they just take a little bit longer the way they build them. But yeah, so I'm expecting 3 months, 3 to 4 to be even. And then once they start going, we're just going to go one station at a time. But I think there's about 16 doors total. So it's quite a project. Yeah, no, it's quite a project,
Okay. Any other questions for Assistant Chief Conti? Okay.
Thank you.
Brings us to Assistant Chief McCabe.
Good afternoon, Mayor, Commissioners.
Afternoon.
Under operations, item 1, monthly calls. In January, we did 667 incidents, so averaging about 21.5 per day. We had 18 fires, 6 building fires. We had 23 MVAs, which were the majority of our 28 rescues, 394 EMS calls, 31 hazardous condition, 21 service calls, 139 fire alarms, and 36 good intent. So under item 2 there, the annual summary of calls, we don't have much to go on yet, only being 1 month in. But with our 667 incidents and 1,106 responses, we're right about where we'd expect to be this time of year, very close to last January's numbers. Under item 3, fire apparatus, Pierce Manufacturing has updated us on the status of our apparatus on order. So our 2 engines are scheduled for delivery in August of 2026, and the heavy rescue truck is slated for September of 2027. Unfortunately, this does not reflect an improvement in the industry build and delivery times. Per our department replacement schedule, those engines and the rescue should have come online in 2022 and in 2023, respectively. We've spoken before about the strain that this puts on the mechanics division and the cost of keeping older equipment in frontline service. But our mechanics continue to do a good job keeping us on the road, and it's something that we're continuing to watch in the industry.
Do you anticipate that's going to improve anytime soon, or is it a supply chain shortage, or what is the issue?
I think it's a combination of issues. Supply chain, especially right after COVID, was certainly an issue, and that may have improved a bit. But there were a lot of orders that were backed up at that point in time. And then the orders continue to come in, which is the reason behind the 4-year delivery time. And in the industry, they also had a lot of their senior employees retire after COVID. So, a lot of their more skilled workers didn't come back to work. They were near retirement. So they've had to bring a lot of people in and train them up. And it's slowed the entire process down is kind of in short what we're getting from a lot of the manufacturers. So again, we keep waiting for it to improve. We keep waiting for these times to decrease, but so far we've not seen that. And it's not just, it's important to note, it's not just the manufacturer that we are looking at and that we buy from. It's really industry wide. And when we talk to the chiefs in other towns, we're hearing the same story from their orders that they have out on apparatus. So we'll continue to watch it. Under item 4A, this month, we've been updating standard operating procedures for truck company fireground operations, regional hazardous materials responses, and structure fire assignments to Rowayton. And after a recent fire on Cudlip Street, it was decided that we will send a full structure fire assignment to all fires in Rowayton. And again, this to supplement the resources of the Rowayton Volunteer Fire Department.
Yeah, Chief,
Yes.
in that regard, Chief Gatto and Assistant Chief McCabe, I'd like to sit down with our Corp Counsel and with the six taxing district commissioners, because as you all know, six taxing district does not pay for fire service.
Right.
All the entire amount that it costs us to run the fire station gets divided up among the other districts.
Mhm.
And six taxing district doesn't. But if we're going to start responding, then in all fairness to the other districts, we're going to have to start making adjustments to that as well, to our tax base. So Chief Gatto, if you can arrange to have a meeting with Corp Counsel, and then we will reach out. I know that six taxing district commission is already aware of this, and they're receptive to what we're proposing. So.
Right. Okay.
Mhm.
I'll reach out to Tom tomorrow.
Very good. Going to item 4B, I noted our ongoing work with the Norwalk dispatch supervisors to institute regular training between our fire department shift commanders and the dispatchers. And they will be practicing maydays and multiple alarm scenarios using both the radio and the station alerting technology.
Okay.
Item 5, notable incidents. January 16th at 12:17 a.m., we had a house fire at 17 Dairy Farm Road. Fire began in the basement of a two-story home and quickly began to spread to the first floor. 2 residents were home at the time of the fire, self-evacuated. First Due Engine Company attacked the fire and extinguished it before it gained hold of the first floor. There was extensive damage to the basement. The truck company and rescue company searched the house and they assisted with overhaul and ventilation. Norwalk Fire Marshal's office investigated. 1 pet dog died in the fire. No injuries were reported. On January 28th at 3:55 a.m., there's a house fire at number 1 Cudlip Street, Rowayton. Smoke detectors alerted the homeowner and her children of a fire in a section of the house that was under renovation. They were able to self-evacuate. Norwalk fire companies arrived first on scene, stretched a hose line into the house, quickly extinguishing the fire and containing it to the room of origin. Rowayton volunteer firefighters assisted the Norwalk crews with overhaul and clearing the house of residual smoke. Fire was the fire was extinguished by first alarm assignment, and the Rowayton Fire Marshal investigated that fire. No injuries reported. And a third structure fire in January occurred at 14 Canfield Avenue. It was reported January 30th, 8:43 a.m. And this fire involved the wood shingle exterior siding of the Shorehaven Golf Pro Shop. When first companies arrived, the fire was climbing up the wall and starting to spread to the eaves of the structure. Engine 3 extinguished the fire, containing it to the exterior. The truck companies overhauled the siding and removed smoke from inside the structure. Norwalk Fire Marshal investigated the fire and no injuries were reported. That concludes the operations report. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Okay. Any questions from the commission?
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Acting Chief McDonald, it's up to. Hello, now you're supposed to get a chuckle, Chief.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor,
Acting
Commissioners, good
Acting Fire
afternoon.
Marshal McDonald, what do we have for the Fire Marshal's report?
Thank you. Our numbers for the month of January were very consistent with the previous months. our inspections, notifications, were up from previous. And, our public education and liquor licenses, was down from previous month. Plan reviews, we almost doubled from the month of December. 45 up from 26 in December. Although some of those in December must have been big ones, because the dollar amount was down just over 3,000 from 4,500 last month. As far as our fire marshal investigations or callouts, we were called out to investigate 13 incidents. 7 of those were fires. 6 of them were, or the other 6 were code or hazard issues involving code issues and or hazards, miscellaneous hazards. Our multi-mega inspections of the large apartment buildings. We did 235 apartments last month.
Wow.
And
Hmm.
are in under the noteworthy section for last month. We followed up on a tip that we got regarding bar 1920 not maintaining fire and life safety systems. A couple of the deputy marshals went down there and issued an order to cease commercial cooking. And the restaurant unfortunately ended up closing as a result. Anyhow, that's my report for January. Any questions? I'll be happy to answer.
No
Commissioners?
questions.
Okay.
No questions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
If a restaurant has to close because of violating code things, do they have an opportunity to fix them and open up again?
Oh, certainly. We gave them a period of 30 days, which is typical. And actually there was an article in the paper where the owner of the restaurant had commented that his decision to close was not based on the order from the fire marshal's office, but due to a personal nature.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Either way, unfortunate.
Okay.
Thank you.
That will bring us to training report. I'm sorry, emergency management, Ms. DeLuca.
Good afternoon.
Hi.
Just so a couple updates. We've been having weekly snowstorms. Hopefully that will come to an end sooner than later. We did have one yesterday or the day before that caused some power outages, but everybody is now restored, according to Eversource. So just kind of keeping folks informed of that and updated, working with Skylar a bit on the messaging. So again, I think for the most part, we may be okay for this week. But again, we've had a pretty long series of events. There have been some meetings on a regional basis with Congressman Himes and Senator Murphy in Blumenthal, especially about the impact of the new administration on issues that, well, I think most of us know the issues. So, you know, how it would impact FEMA, how it might impact other areas. So really, again, working as a region, staying in touch with the state and kind of monitoring how some of these big changes will impact us at the regional level and at the local level. And who knows what's to come on that end. I did send out an email to the group this morning on H5N1 that had come out last week from DPH Deep and through Demis. Coordinated that with Deanna, and we'll just keep our eye on the status, and if needed, again, we can either do Zooms to keep folks updated or just regular updates on what's happening with that and the impact. And then a few pub eds, have one scheduled with the early childhood program, the city of Norwalk. So they're doing a big event at the Sono Collection on March 15th. So I'll participate in that. Not quite sure doing what yet because they want something attractive, but I will find something fun and disaster related for the little ones. So that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners?
Thanks for the report, Michelle.
Okay. That brings us to Deputy Chief Capola for the training report. Looks like you have a hefty one here.
Yeah, it should be quick. So this month and end of last month, we have been given the opportunity to use 4 vacant houses that are in front of the new Sono school. They were completely remediated of all hazards, and our members have been doing some really, really good, interesting training there, including ventilating the roofs, hose line stretches. We're doing window cut downs for RIT operations, meaning firefighter rescue. We're breaching walls, ventilating windows, doing vent enter search techniques, some aerial positioning, portable and roof ladder evolutions, overhaul techniques, and some balloon frame building construction familiarization. So it's been a really awesome opportunity, very well received by the members. They are very excited to have this hands-on, we call it destructive type training, where we have pretty much any opportunity we want with the exception of actually lighting it on fire. Which would be fun, but there's a lot of things that go along with doing that we really don't have time for because the demo will be done within days or weeks. So we've been getting some pre-incident planning reports in for First Do software. Next week we have a workshop for our officers to get some formal training on First Do software, and that'll take place beginning Monday. And there'll be a 4-hour segment in the morning.
Firefighters to the floor, or a speed traffic liquor.
That'll be the company officer training workshop. Some of the completed stuff that we finished the EMT EMR recertification course finally. Got the certificates for all the members that completed it. So those EMS certifications will be renewed. We've ongoing SCBA respirator fit tests. Been doing that. That's almost done. We trained all of our members at Station 2 on the new attenuator truck, TAC 1, that we use at highway incidents for blocking and protection of our members. And then upcoming scheduled stuff, Deputy Chief test is going to be, I have scheduled for April 24th, 2025, with the oral examination the week after. I've been looking into some possibility of getting a look at the area familiarization for the new Norwalk High School construction project, which is just beginning. They're starting to put steel in the ground now. And we start our blood draws for our 2025 NFPA, 1582 OSHA and DOT medical evaluations, and the physicals will start shortly thereafter. And that's it. Any questions?
As always, very thorough. Thank you so much for all the preparation that you go through to make sure that our fire staff is always well prepared and protected.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you.
A lot of good training going on.
Thank you.
Commissioners, any other questions or?
Yes, so to go back a little bit to the notable incidents, B, the house fire in Rowayton. Was it referenced that we were the first on site?
That's correct, yes. Our shift commander and engine 5 and truck 2 arrived first on scene, followed by the rest of the assignment. And the Rowayton chief was there initially as well, but it took a little bit longer for their personnel to arrive on scene.
Is that normal?
It's depending on time of day and how many volunteers they have able to respond to an incident. It's not unusual that engine 5 would get there first.
Oh, good. And that'll help the 6th district with the decision process for providing the same funds that some of the other districts do.
Yes.
Excellent. Thank you.
Okay. Moving right along, brings us to local 8:30, no items. Steve, you want to talk about the correspondence letter?
Yeah, so while we're on the relating subject, Mr. Coonahan is the father and husband that lives at that address, as Chief McCabe explained. He was away up in Boston at the time of the fire. So luckily, thank God, all the smoke detectors worked and everybody got out. Wrote a pretty nice little letter from his 5-year-old son explaining what he saw, which is pretty, I'm sure it's pretty accurate. But he's very grateful that we were there and did what we had to do. So it's a nice thank you letter.
Yeah, all hundreds of police officers, firefighters,
Yeah,
hundreds of. I know it seems like that, right?
yeah.
Very nice, good letter, and again, just another testament to the good work. Commissioners, any other comments or?
No, it's always great to hear from the community.
Right.
I mean, we do a great job anyway, but it's always nice to hear from them.
I see we have public participation down at the end here. Do we have anybody online that is looking for public participation?
No, Linda's saying no.
Okay. So now it's an update on the port security grant. Who's going to handle that?
Okay, I'll just give you a brief history real quick. Fiscal year 21, we applied for a port security grant to looking to replace our 24-foot privateer boat, which is a 1985 boat. We did get the award, and we did find a vendor that was going to refurbish the boat for us. And over a year and a half of pretty much no action from that marina, we had to get out of that. It really wasn't even a contract because we didn't even apply for a contract, but we had to get out of that whole deal. We applied for an extension through FEMA, which we were granted 1-year extension until August of 2025. And I'm happy to say that we found a replacement down in Pensacola, Florida, 29-foot metal shark boat. It's going to be refurbished. We're also including a fire pump on it. And based on the last quote, to include all of the electronics and the pump, the trailer, etc., it's around $220,000. We have in that budget between the grant and our matching funds that we had to come up with, we have 240, so we're well into under the budget for the boat. So they're projecting up to 14 weeks to have it all completed. And then we should have our new refurbished boat. But I'll keep you updated as the progress goes along.
Great.
And
Any
falls-
questions? Yes,
And
Commissioner?
that falls within the August extended timeframe from FEMA?
Yes.
Great, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any further questions or comments? Okay, I think that's the agenda. There is a next meeting on Tuesday, March 18th, 2025, and I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved by Commissioner DeStrouge. We all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at 3:30 p.m. or 15:30. Thank you all.
Have a good
Thank
week,
you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Great week.
Thank you.
Thank you.